This episode is brought to you by Trailer Park Yard Games, where over 28 games are delivered directly to your party. We park the trailer, you party. I thought it was interesting we had no 4, 5s, or 6s.
Yeah, I guess that's not, real estate is not really a profession that someone with a 4, 5, or a 6 really goes into.
They were all out doing 4, 5, and 6 things instead of coming to the study.
Maybe they were meditating.
Maybe they were trying to find out if 7, 8, 9.
Huh. Yeah, who knows? You know.
Thanks, Tom. Tom came in with a background laugh to save his wife.
Yes, thank you so much. One thing that I found out was that, so I'm a 7, and I think Tom is a 9.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with PB and Jaisy.
Hey, welcome to the PB and Jaisy podcast. It's me, Jaisy.
And I'm Bill Stedham.
Bill always does this with his elbows. And I'm Sarah Paget.
Well, I try to talk with my arms or my elbows. What can I say?
Well, be careful with your elbows. You almost hit me in the face.
Yeah, that's what Ann tells me all the time. My wife is worried that if she dies, it's going to be from one of my elbows.
Probably.
Well, I'm sure if you die, it's probably from from her elbows.
If y'all just heard that noise, it was my chair, I promise.
Okay, yeah. If I die, just go out by the chicken house because I'll be buried.
Yeah, she probably fed you to the chickens.
Ann has a sledgehammer and a bucket of water. She'll put you out
It makes sense
for the right price.
Sarah, have you had this ponytail this whole time? I just noticed the ponytail.
No, isn't that something weird?
The half ponytail. No, I just noticed it and was like, I didn't know if you had your hair this all morning.
It was different because, so I'll tell you a quick story that has messed with my, what's the word? Confidence.
Oh no.
So I was wearing my hair kind of halfway pinned, but right here because I have these weird bangs.
Oh, is it from the comment?
And Jaisy was telling a story, and she's like, you know how people a really long time ago used to wear their hair pulled up in the front?
It was like a half bump, back in the early 90s. It was so weird.
It wasn't cool, and no one does it anymore. And I looked at Jaisy and I was like this, and I pointed at it, and then she kind of went like this. But now I don't wear my hair like that.
Well, in my defense, when I'm normally talking to you, I'm usually looking at your forehead.
Yep.
So I didn't even notice how your hair was to begin with.
Now this is what happens when we have a 1 and a 7 talking together.
And we are talking about the Enneagram when we call our numbers.
Yes. So we were going to do a bring your own topics. And I really wanted to say my topic first because I was worried that one of you guys were going to take it because my topic was going to be, what is your Enneagram? How do you guys feel about what your number is? Et cetera, et cetera. Was that your topic too, Bill?
No, it was definitely not my topic.
He doesn't bring topics that he doesn't know how to spell. So
yes.
Or pronounce.
So let's talk about the Enneagram. So if y'all don't know what the Enneagram is,
our one here is going to teach you about it.
Yes, I will tell you. So ones can be teachy and preachy, which I found out.
No kidding.
Which I do not agree with. But I'm about to teach you something. So the Enneagram is the oldest personality test that has ever been around, I guess ever been, I don't know. And it's the idea that there's 9 personality types and we all fall into one, and they're all the 9 different characteristics of God and how we kind of relate to each other. And it goes there's really in depth, but we did it at the office. And Jaisy, you were a what number?
I'm a 7.
Okay.
And what's a 7?
Yeah, tell us about
So
a
7 is, what was the title? It's energetic or the party starter or something like that.
Was it the performer?
No, it wasn't the performer.
Can't remember.
It's something.
3's performer.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But basically we are higher energy. We are creative. We don't like to be tied down by certain things. So sometimes we will get a whole bunch of hobbies and then just be like, oh, okay, I have all these hobbies. But one thing that is different because I'm also a 7 and then a 9. And then I think my third one was a 2 or something like that. But I do like starting a whole bunch of things. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I, want to do, and something will catch my interest. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. So then I'll start that. But I have to finish everything too. I have to be okay, I have to follow through with it. Okay, I really want to create a video about this. So I will halfway write a script and then I'll be like, oh, but I want to make a video about this, or I want to make this or do this or whatever. And then I'll have to come back to and be like, okay, well, I started this. I have to finish it.
Well, you also don't like confrontation.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That too.
So if anyone confronted you about your unfinished products, that would projects would probably make you uncomfortable.
Yes. In marriage, when we have to have tough conversations, budgeting or, things
just
like that.
The way you said that, like
Budgeting.
budgeting.
Yeah, things like that. It's like I have to like be like, okay, yeah, let's just have the conversation. Or if I have to I'll try to put it like the next day if I have something like a big meeting or something. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to bring the vibes down and have this conversation. So can we wait until after this and then we can talk about this? Because
I'm looking at Tom the whole time, and he's staring at you.
But the whole
like,
reason,
"Yep, it's
because
true."
I am married to a 7. So Michael Padgett, that you guys have met on the podcast before, is also a 7. And so they have got to know each other a little better and said that they feel heard and understood, and that the 7s are closely related.
Here's what I found odd. I only have 2 7s in the office that were in this book study, and they had a number.
No, you have a 3rd.
I do?
Brian is a 7 also.
Okay, so
He's a quiet 7.
Yeah.
he's a
He's
much
more
quieter
chill.
7. But I don't think Brian's responsible for this. So one of the 2 7s, if not
What is he gonna
both,
say?
took the 7 and turned it upside down. They had a number on their table, and they made artwork out of it. And it's now sitting on our refrigerator.
Well, okay, so we had to break out into groups, and then Michael said, "Oh, it could be a 7, or it could be an L if we turn it upside down." And then I said, "Oh, it actually looks like a nose." And then I put it up to my face, and then I made a slightly racist comment, but it's about my own race because I said it could be a Guju nose, which if you are Gujarati, I really apologize, but I mean, you know what kind of nose you got. So then then he made a face around it.
And all the white people go, what?
What's a Guju?
So just like my children when they were growing up, or my child, it only gets to hang up there for a few days. So if you want to keep it, take it home today.
Well, I thought it was interesting. So when we separate everyone into groups, I look over at the 7s, and I was looking at everyone's body language. The 7s were literally like leaning back, feet up on the table, chair, whatever. Like, it's okay, brah. Like, we're good.
We was just chilling.
Yeah. And then the ones are like, taking copious notes. And the 8s were just pissed off. I don't know why. The 3s were competing on who was the better 3 of the group. And it was just really, they were leaned in. We were in the heart triad. So that's when all like the, 2 3s and 4s were together.
Yeah, we had one, which we won't mention the person's name, who
The
sat
floater.
down and said, "I'm a 3." I said, "Get out of here. You're not a 3."
And then he came to the 7s, and we were like, we don't want to kick you out, but at the same time,
we do.
you don't belong here.
Yes. And we're talking about Jalen. We don't want to say names, but so Bill, what are you?
I'm a 3.
What does that mean?
Well, they have the title performer, but basically it means the best. We're going to win.
Okay.
Very
And
competitive, right?
We're very, very competitive, and we're going to work hard at winning. And what was neat is everybody at the table, all were very competitive. Learned a lot of great things
Who
about
was the most
Yeah.
competitive?
No, I'm more competitive. No,
I don't know who
everyone
the
would
most competitive was, but I thought it was great, and it was a great study. And of all the personality studies that we've done, and over the years I've done a lot of them, this one was probably the easiest and the quickest, and it was like perfectly accurate.
It's crazy. And so you were also married to a 3, right?
Yeah, it's wild because we have the exact same numbers.
Yeah.
And so, at home, we've got to figure out who's the best, which in certain things is pretty cool.
Oh.
Like, I'm talking about cooking.
Well.
Okay. Well, and ours, so I'm a 1 and Michael's a 7. So, which is cool. We use the Ennea app, which is ENNEAPP. Yeah, you know me. I always have to say that for some reason. But
AAP. Yeah, you know me.
But it's
APP.
There's the 7. So it's a really, it's a free app, but it's really cool. And I can say like, okay, how does a 1 and a 7, when are we, healthy and interacting, and when are we unhealthy when we have a conflict? And it talks about what each person needs to hear and how they interact. And it's really, really cool. And then there's all these different levels, like a healthy 1 versus a very unhealthy 1. And there's 9, I think, different levels. It's crazy. It sounds really in depth, but take the test and let us know what number you are. Let your spouse know. Have your spouse take the test. And I think it's really good for relationships.
Yeah.
Well, it's also helpful in working with other people. So I can't tell you how often I pulled up the app when I know who I'm sitting with and looked at the ways that they're going to respond to me.
You pulled out the cheat code.
I did.
Okay, so you're a 4. Okay, so how are you?
Can you imagine if everyone had their number tattooed on them?
Well,
that would be perfect.
There are some places you'd go in, when they would have the colors of what your personality is. And I've been to conferences where you'd have those on your name badge. I wouldn't mind having on our name badge as a 1 through a 9.
I think that'd be awesome.
I think it would be neat just as an exercise in the office to see what's going on and then see how people relate as they know better who they are and what's happening.
I thought it was interesting. We had no 4, 5s, or 6s.
Yeah, I guess that's not, real estate is not really a profession that someone with a 4, 5, or a 6 really goes
they
into.
were all out doing 4, 5, and 6 things instead of coming to the
Maybe
study.
they were meditating.
Maybe they were trying to find out if 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, who knows?
Thanks, Tom. Tom came in with a background laugh to save his wife.
Yes, thank you so much. One thing that I found out was that, so I'm a 7, and I think Tom is a 9, right? Yeah, I think so.
Tom thinks he's a 10, but
he's
it
like a
only
9.
goes 1 through 9.
He's like a 9 or something like that. But it made me realize that when we go out to eat, we need to have someone that's like a 1 or an 8 or something with us, because neither one of our Enneagram types is where if something wrong were to happen with our order, we would just order.
With your what?
With our order.
What'd y'all order?
We would just be kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm eating now. We will not send it back. We will probably tip the person more for the inconvenience of sending us the wrong thing. But if we had someone that was like an 8, or I think even a 1, would just be like, hey, you know what? This is actually supposed to be this way, but thank you.
Yeah, it's truth and love for a 1. So we will definitely point out the error, because we can't not point out the error. But then it would be, we may not necessarily have them correct it, but we would at least let them know that they've made a mistake. Yeah.
Hey, this is actually the completely wrong thing that I got.
I'm going to eat this,
it's totally
but
fine.
It's not what I ordered, but I will eat it. Yeah.
Yeah. A funny thing about someone's in-law, definitely not my mother-in-law, is that a common thing that we always joke around about is anywhere that we take mom, it doesn't matter. She's always going to say that she doesn't like the food. It is can't even think of a time where we've gone somewhere where mom has been like, oh, I like this. But what's hilarious about it is that mom will finish her food, her plate is done, and then the waiter will come by and be bussing the table and be like, oh, how did you guys like everything? And mom will be like, I didn't like it. It's but your plate is done.
So does she cook really well? Is she picky, or is she just?
Mom's not so picky, I'd say. Her love language is for sure food. If you come to her house, it's very, I think that's normal. That's a very normal, Indian woman thing, is come to my home. You cannot leave until you eat and drink and, let me massage your feet. Let me take care of you in any way.
I'll be right over.
But, yeah, with her own food, or if she comes over to our house and eats, she's never complained to my face. Maybe behind my back things are different. I don't know. But that's always a funny thing, is we're always like, oh man, because I always am cringing of man, the waiter's coming. What is mom?
What's she gonna say? Please don't ask her how her food was.
Please don't ask her.
So I just found out maybe I'm an Indian woman. I love to make sure that I give everybody good food when they come over.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, that's the 7 in me too, is when people come over, I'm very much just like, hey, let's have fun. What can I do to make your experience better?
Yes.
Please fill out a survey on your way out and let me know what we can do to improve.
I saw you the other day. There was an interaction in the office, and somebody kind of snapped at somebody else, and I literally saw Jaisy fold in, it was a piece of paper folding. She just kind of went like this. Confrontation is rough.
Yes.
Super rough.
Yeah.
That brings me to my topic, which is adversity and how people handle it. We've had a little bit of it here lately. For those of you that are listening, what you probably don't know is about 3 weeks ago, our entire office flooded, which I know happened to a lot of people in Texas in February, but this wasn't February, this was October. And a water main busted underneath our office. And, we've got about 90 independent contractors and employees. And all of a sudden, overnight, we had to move. And what I found amazing, I don't know how this happened, is we really had no complaining. Now maybe it's happening behind my back where people are saying,
yeah, there was that one guy.
But he's gone.
Yeah, but
I haven't heard anybody.
And got rid of him.
I haven't heard anybody complain.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I think people handle adversity differently. And I think there's a healthy way to handle adversity, because we all go through it, right? And there's an unhealthy way to handle adversity. And I think the more successful you are, you tend to handle it healthy. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the more unsuccessful are, you tend to handle adversity in an unhealthy way.
Well, I think people who have a lot of success have probably, you've only gotten to that successful place by overcoming adversity and moving past some roadblocks and things like that. So if anything, that stuff has taught you and prepared you for the new status that you're at to just continue to.
Well, and I think 2020 taught all of us to be flexible and to be resilient. And hey, it could be worse. At least we've got an office. At least we've got people to go to, we get to see real humans today. Mm-hmm. We get to put on real pants. Like, I think it's really kind of taken some of that need to complain out because we had such a weird year last year,
I think you're 100% correct.
But thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know compliments are important for you.
Yes.
But then I also find that in certain circumstances, some people just complain about everything. And it's nice to know that we don't live and work with those folks in person. But
those are the 4, 5s, and 6s.
Yeah.
But I will say this, because I think there's seasons that I have found myself complaining where you're worn down and you're not in a good space. We talked about those levels on the Enneagram. Maybe you're in an unhealthy space and you just find yourself complaining. I think the difference is acknowledging it. And I can tell you, it tastes bad in my mouth to complain. I will do it, but after enough of it, I'm like, man, I need to, think of something positive. What's a positive spin? And I think we're pretty good here calling each other out. Like, okay, tell me something positive that's happened. Or, I think we try to push each other back in the right direction if we get too far off.
Well, I think a healthy way, because I think we can all go too far on it, is to make sure we take time off on a regular basis and to get away. And
wait, what did you say, Bill?
Take time off.
Oh, are you going to take some time off?
Yeah.
I am. I've got the Airstream. We're pulling
God.
Oh, goodness. Here we go. Why did you have to say
You
that?
took my topic.
Okay, well, I'm not taking the topic of the Airstream, but I'm literally pulling it to the house later this afternoon to get it ready for, we're going to take several short trips in the month of November and a long trip. And I just realized this is probably not coming out till December or January. So now we tape in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that they know that.
So listen forward in about 5, 6 episodes, we'll find out where Bill has gone.
Yeah.
Where the trips have done. They're done now.
For the rest of the year, we're going to take trips almost every other weekend.
Wow.
So we have to do that because
Thank
otherwise,
goodness for that Airstream. No regrets.
It is great, but we booked our first cruise in
awesome.
almost 2 years this week. So because of the pandemic, we've not been able to travel.
Is it just the 2 of you?
Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2
and
of us.
We've always wanted to take a cruise on a more intimate setting. We've been on lots of big cruise ships.
Ooh.
And,
that was a big whistle.
Yeah. No, intimate meaning small number of people. So there's only a couple hundred passengers.
Are y'all taking your swinger friends from the Airstream community?
No.
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to those guys?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay, so that's coming up in 2022?
It's coming up in 2022. In fact, 1 year from today, we'll be
sailing away.
No, actually, we'll be porting from the end of our trip. We're going to end up in Lisbon. And it's going to be great. We're starting in Barcelona, and it's I guess we're going to be gone about 10 days. So we're really looking forward to it. We're trying a new cruise line we've not been on before, on a brand new ship that they don't even start sailing till May.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to get back and tell you, hopefully, that it
Double
was fantastic.
first class.
Yes.
Well,
I'm sure.
One of
Bill
my,
always has to ride in style.
Yeah,
Number 3.
I don't know about
He's
that.
a spoiled.
It is nice, and it's through a cruise line I've never been on before, so I'll get back and tell you about it afterwards.
Is it Holland America?
No.
Is it Norwegian?
No. You won't be able to guess it.
Oh.
Oh, it's like some
Is it something I can't guess?
elite status. You can only have like a black card to even talk to them.
We are the first humans to step foot on this vessel.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's developed by Elon Musk.
So-
It's actually called the
Tesla
experience.
Yes.
No.
So I'm going to ask you a question then, because I just made this up because I didn't come prepared today with the topic. But
That is so unlike you.
I know. What are you guys looking forward to most in 2022?
That's easy for me. So without getting political, although it's going to sound political, I'm looking for 3 things that I really want to see happen.
Okay.
I want to see us eliminate some of the ridiculous restrictions that are out there.
Okay. In regards to COVID?
You're talking about masks.
As far as
Okay.
pandemic and COVID, I want to get past some of that.
Sure.
You know, when I get on an airplane, I don't want to have to wear a mask. And, you know, I don't really want to see kids in schools wearing masks. So I want to see us get past that. But more importantly, what I'm looking forward to, and I hope that we're coming more to a balanced ability to get along as a society. I want to see our politics or our politicians start trying to figure out how to solve problems instead of point problems out.
Yeah, I think there's a huge division with all of us, you know, political stance, whatever. But I think the chasm has never been so big as it is right now.
Yeah,
you know?
and now they don't even listen when something's said.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So if someone says something from a party that's opposite of you, it's just they challenge you automatically. They don't listen to what's there. They don't listen to how to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And then they want to blame. And even the politicians that I vote for and respect, I hear them as soon as something doesn't go the right way, they start complaining. So what am I looking forward to in 2022?
Less complaints.
Huh?
You had a third thing. You remember?
I did have a third thing.
You forgot it. Oh, Bill.
No, I didn't.
Bill, this is the PB and JC podcast. I'm JC.
You're
this
safe.
is Sarah. You're okay.
Yeah, no. My third thing, honestly, is going to be a lot more weekend trips.
Good for you.
With Ann, we're going to do a lot of traveling. We're going to work harder than we've ever worked. We have some big goals set up, but that's what we're looking forward to.
That's awesome. Y'all deserve it.
Well, I don't know if we deserve it. We're going to
You
do
do.
it.
Yeah.
You do because I said you do.
Take it.
Okay.
For me, I am looking forward to 2022 as like, so this past year was, you know, I had a baby and all that. So like so now I got 2 kids, and after having after having Lennox, like I feel like my business and stuff like that was kind of put on hold with real estate and all of that. So I'm really looking forward because now we have a wonderful nanny that we love, that we have 3 days a week where I can fully devote those days to building my business and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to 2022, just really getting back into gear. Like it's slowly, you know, it's hard to slowly start to do that. But as I'm continuing, I'm looking forward to having a full year of real estate without having another baby, because we done. No more kids here.
I heard Tom is done.
Yes, Tom is permanently
Medically done.
If you want to hear those complaints, please ask him, because he is more than willing to tell you what he has so selflessly gone through.
Is that called clip?
Yeah. What's
Ouch,
crazy though
ouch.
is with that, this is like a 15-minute procedure. Literally, the doctor that he did it was one that I worked for years, an amazing guy that I love. He's so great, so good at what he does. And like, Tom has rested more than I did after having either one of my children.
Yeah, but you don't have a wiener. You don't understand.
He takes it to the next level. He's just been so like, oh, I don't
Wasn't
know.
it a
babe.
few weeks ago you
I
were
think
telling
you're
us
forgetting.
about the potato in your doctor?
Ugh, that wasn't
Different
in my
doctor.
that wasn't in my doctor. That was a patient that the doctor saw. Ugh.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. So having the nanny starting already, how do you feel about those 3 days going back to work? Is it hard to leave the boys? Or are you like, peace out?
No, like the first couple of times that I left, I think I was more like, you know, this is someone that I don't really know. So I was doing a little bit more. We have cameras all over our house and all this stuff like that.
Like
So
the
I
nanny
would,
cam?
yeah. So I would like a couple of times a day just look in and be like, oh, what are they doing? You know, are they okay or whatever? Did they eat lunch yet? But now I'm like, they're fine. Like,
Well,
you know, we
she's
trust her.
spanking
and
them.
we
They
love-
probably
yeah,
deserve it.
Yeah, she's fine. Oh, yeah, so whatever. But also in 2022, what I'm looking forward to is doing more trips of like just Tom and I. We were able to do one trip this year, which was our first trip, just him and I,
Y'all did
since
New
before we had
York
kids.
And what else?
We did. We stopped in Florida, dropped our kids off, and then went to New Jersey for a wedding. And we were there for like 3.5 days, and then came back to Florida, picked up the kids, and came back to Texas. So
you dropped your kids off at Disney World and just left them at the gate?
basically, Tom's parents live in the most magical place on earth. So they were able to take care of our kids.
They live in
Thank you so much.
Orlando.
They live in Orlando.
Wow. What a great place.
But yeah, just getting that small taste of like having a vacation with just Tom was really great. But I think it's really important in a marriage to take those times.
Well, now that he's
especially
fixed,
when
you guys can go have a ball.
That's very true.
No pun intended.
That's also what I'm looking forward to, taking care of that.
Just make sure
Taking advantage of
make
it.
sure that it took, because if not, you're going to come back with
We gotta make sure.
another
Oh my
baby.
gosh, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I think for me, just having a year that is quote unquote back to normal, because even this year, there's so many remnants of whatever, and I'm just done with it. Like Bill said, I'm kind of ready to move past that and on, and just having an election year last year was crazy, or this year, whatever this is going to be posted. But for 2022, I'm just excited for a new start and just something, kind of refreshing. I don't know. I'm just looking for newness and rejuvenation, if that's a good word.
Yeah.
I love that.
I get that. That's important to have. I think people need it. We need a sense of like things being normal.
Yeah.
Not the new normal, but more of just the normal.
Well, and I think everyone jinxed it because everyone's like, oh, 2020, like we're going to have 2020 vision. Like everything's going to be great in 2020.
There was too much expectation put on 2020
And
that
God said,
2020.
watch this.
Yeah. That 2020 was just like, you know what?
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
really live up to this.
I keep getting Pentecostal here. I'm so sorry. I keep hitting my mic.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Well, and we've had some really good guests and stuff this year too. And so there's a lot of great stuff that happened this year. So I don't want it to feel like it was not a great year.
Yeah.
It
The
really
year was great.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, the results are going to be fantastic. But it's time to, as you said, reset. It's time to get past some of this garbage that was necessary. Don't get me wrong. I understand it was necessary at the time, and that's why we're still here.
I think it taught us a lot of stuff.
It did.
Like we talked about resiliency and kids in general. Just the I feel like kids have it so easy these days, but also so hard in so many ways. They have more resources and things than we ever imagined.
They're growing up a lot quicker.
Yes, but now you think about the year that they had, and just being able to be flexible and to not always know what tomorrow looks like, but to be ready. And I think that we've learned a lot of good lessons.
Well, I think one of the lessons we've all learned how to do is how to pivot when adversity strikes.
Pivot!
Yeah, my new favorite word. But think about it for a second. When the pandemic started and they locked us down, we had a choice. And we had a choice to either sit there and go, woe is me, we're just going to sit back and see what happens and do nothing. Or we had a choice to retool and figure out how do we start going. And just to bring us back to that, if you'll remember, we immediately retooled everything we did. We didn't say, okay, we're not going to get together anymore. We figured out, okay, the day after they locked us down, how do we have daily training going on?
We even
every
figured out
single
how to
day?
have a virtual happy hour.
Yeah,
That's
we
pretty
were having
inventive.
virtual happy hours, which are weird. But we were having
But it was
them.
great. And also staying connected with Marco Polo. So you
Yeah.
can kind of have like a normal office experience and that banter that we were so used to having. Because
Yeah.
our office has such a good culture to it. And I think even people that are within our same brokerage, but just in a different office in a different city or something, when they come and visit our office, it's very much like, oh, the Mansfield office. Or when we show up to stuff, it's like, oh, the Mansfield office is here. Like people know who we are.
know us.
Yeah, they know us.
Well, I'll give you an example of resiliency is we wanted to get out and thank all of our folks and figure out a way to do it. And what we ended up doing got duplicated throughout the entire United States and brokerages everywhere, not only in our franchise, but throughout all brokerages. So, I think that learning how to pivot and realizing we're not going to sit back and feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to figure out how do we make this work? How do we take care of our people? How do we go? I think that's been very beneficial for us. I think it'll continue to carry forward. We'll learn lots of lessons from it. And
I think that's a really cool thing for if our listeners, if you are listening, why don't you comment down below or let us know something that you overcame in this past year, something that 2020 taught you that you were able to use in 2021 in some way that you honestly wouldn't have learned that, or, even if it's something like you learned how to make bread or something like that has come in handy. I mean, awesome. Let us know. We
I
want to
think
know.
it'd be great. I think we could actually bring those up and talk about them, maybe even have them on the show. If they wanted to be on the show and tell us their experience, I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think for me, it taught me, again, to be thankful for the small things I used to complain about or dread, family get-togethers and stuff that I, may not, be super excited about, or even just socially interacting at the office, things that I kind of was like, it was part of life, but it wasn't something I was excited about. I took it for granted. So
the 7 in me, that was like everything I needed.
Exactly.
So when the office was taken away, I'd be like, what?
Well, and that's what's so different too, all the different personality types and I think we talked about that last time, is that there's some that have really held on to this idea of now I have an excuse to do nothing. And now all I have to do is say, COVID, I don't have to do it. So I think it can be dangerous for those who have been needing an excuse. So, well, today we just kind of flew off the cuff a little bit and just wanted to throw some table topics out there. And we always love your feedback. So if you guys have a topic you want us to cover or have a guest, or our newest adventure, if you know someone who wants to sponsor the podcast, we've got some opportunities for you to come in there, put some stuff in the goodie bags and things like that. We have a few seconds left. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
I think that we've done good. I've covered a lot of stuff. Yeah, I wanted to compliment you, but I'm going to throw out a book. And now my mind just went blank.
Oh no.
Earl Nightingale's
But not again.
Lead the Field.
Lead the Field.
I recently read that, and I'm going to challenge you to read it. I'm going to challenge you to look at what's in there. I think it's a fantastic message.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank y'all so much.
Yes.
We out.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with PB